Aloha, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. I am your host, Thaddeus. First thing I want to do today is shout out our sponsors. First, we have Defend Hawaii. If you could check out their website, defendhawaii.com, look at what latest drops they have, their new apparel and stuff for spring. Go check them out. They also have a store called No One in Windward Mall. Go to defendhawaii.com, use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout. You'll receive 15% off your entire purchase order. Next, we have iRep Detail Supply, and these guys have everything you need to detail your car, truck, van, whatever vehicle you have, polishes, waxes, soaps. They have a store in Temple Valley Shopping Center. You can also go to irepdetailsupply.com, use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, and you'll receive 15% off your entire purchase order. Next, we have Hawaii Candy Factory, and we're just using these guys to fundraise for my daughter's volleyball team to go to Florida. But if you check them out, HawaiiCandyFactory.com, you see their candies everywhere. They have cute little packages called noms, and they're blowing up. But go check them out, HawaiiCandyFactory.com, promo code ATBPOD upon checkout. You'll receive 10% off your entire purchase order. So last but not least, we have our medical mushroom company, Medicinal Mushroom Hawaii. And if you go to their website, medmushroomhigh.com, they have 3 tinctures of mushroom extract. They have chaga, lion's mane, and turkey tail. And if you don't know what these mushrooms do for health benefits, the lion's mane has been known to increase energy, focus, memory, and improve your mood. The chaga mushroom boosts immune system, fights inflammation, balances your gut health, and the turkey tail is known to fight cancer, tumors, viruses, and boost your endurance. I take all 3 of these every day. If you go to their website, medmushroomhigh.com, use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, all capitals, you'll receive 45% off your first tincture of whatever mushroom you want. Go check them out. I definitely take this stuff every single day. Aloha. All right, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. This week, I'm super stoked to have this guy on. He's a videographer, a short film creator, content creator, influencer, somebody that can do it all, video editor. He goes by the name Vitamin B. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? Appreciate you having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. I know we've been having a little bit of trouble with the weather and the power going out in my area, so mahalos for being
Oh,
patient.
good.
Yeah. All right, I got a ton of questions for you, man. First off, how did you find yourself being in Hawaii? Like you're not from here, right?
No, no, no. Yeah, so I'm from Vegas, and there's a strong kind of connection. When I was in Vegas, I was just meeting a bunch of awesome Hawaiian business owners that were kind of coming here, and I was shooting a lot of rap videos to start. That's kind of where I began the vitamin B, all of it, and it was, hey, it was a good time, but it was a dangerous environment, at times. It was crazy. I mean, lots of guns pointed at me. Like, if you ever shot a music video, you're holding the camera and they
Oh
pull their
yeah.
in the middle of the shot, and you're just like, come on, man. So like that was like every day. And I have 2 kids. So at the time my wife was pregnant with our number 2, and I was just like, oh dude, I gotta make some changes. I can't keep I was like, this at one point, it was like me and one guy alone in a stairwell with no cell phone service. He's pointing a gun at me, and I was just like, dude. I mean, not like to rob me, but like for the video.
It's
And I'm just,
probably loaded though.
yeah. And so I was like, you know what? That was kind of the moment. So I decided, I said, let's make a change. My wife, half Filipino, from Taiwan, has family here, and
Okay.
so I was always out here anyways, and we had a place in Makaha that was like our goal to retire to someday. And so we had bought it, we were renting it out, and then we just decided, let's make the jump. Let's come over. That was last June. So we came over to Hawaii and started in Makaha, and now I live in town. So just it was too far to drive every
Oh
day. It was like
yeah.
3 hours, but it was great, man. It was in June, and I really had to like, I had a whole career behind me in Vegas, but I didn't know like anybody, and I knew that I just needed to get my name out there. I needed people, to just show people what I can do. And so seriously, man, for I sold everything I had in the mainland. I had like a Tesla. I sold it to like a strip club, and then like I pull up. I didn't know where it was, who was buying it, and then they're like, "Hey, meet me here." I pull up. It's like a strip club. I'm like taking my daughter's car seat out, and like all the girls are like, "Woo!" And I was just like, so I used all that money from my Tesla, from everything when I landed in Hawaii. I said, I just need to start meeting as many people as possible. So I ran a ton of Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and I was just, this random white boy. And I was like, hey, I'm a videographer. I'm in Makaha, and like I want to shoot you a free video and just meet you. So for like the first 3 months I was here, all day long, I was just driving around meeting business owners that had responded to my ad. And I met some legit people. I mean, some incredible that I'm still really good friends with today. And that's kind of how I started. I just started working, and I just slowly, slowly started meeting other people. And I go back to Vegas every month still. So I kind of have two hubs, but it's great, man. So now I'm taking off. It's really fun. I'm really busy, and it's just been a great time, man. I work with incredible people, and yeah.
Oh, that's kind of a cool story, and seems like you fit right in, and you have
I,
that aloha vibe about you, so it's kind of endearing. Like people would kind of give you a chance to show what you can do. Plus, your content is pretty cool to see, and if you were to go look on your Instagram, a lot of it is highly professional. I know you're not just shooting with a GoPro
yeah.
and yeah. So
Well,
how did you yeah, like how
well,
did
one of
you
my babies.
oh man. How did you even start getting into videography and editing and stuff?
Okay, so I'm like a OG nerd. Like I got lucky. I was like literally I don't know how old you are, but I was like in high school shooting on tape, right? So like shooting on VHS.
Oh,
We
okay,
were
okay.
totally nerdy. Like the video kids were not the cool kids, they were
You're
like
the okay.
there's a reason like Peter Parker's like a photographer. Like it's supposed to be a diss, right? Like he's supposed
Yeah.
to be a mega nerd. And then suddenly like halfway through my high school, Instagram like comes out. And so suddenly all the girls want to hang out with me because I could take their picture, and suddenly I'm not a nerd anymore, right? So I've been doing this since like, oh gee, I got my first like digital camera in high school. I remember the shift from the big old like tape ones when I
Oh
was in,
yeah.
so I was a product of the perfect timing, right? Perfect timing of technology. It was like video cameras, social media, everything went digital. I was like in school at the time, very first of the wave. So yeah, I mean, I've been doing this forever, and I've always loved it. And I mean, I've just like literally when I was in high school, I got terrible grades because I was just running around making movies instead. So this
Like
was like
take
always, I'm like super glad it turned out to be a feasible career. I would have been screwed. But like, yeah, it's just, and then it ended up like 5 years ago, I was convincing people why video was important, believe it or not. Like that was my job.
yeah.
Now I don't, it speaks for itself, right? Like reels and the invention of all of that took off what I think I kind of knew and hoped was coming. And so now it's awesome because like, the reason I was flunking around in junior and high school is now like a super viable career, and I'm really busy, and so I love it.
We kind of were like a prophet. You knew it was coming, so you could pick that avenue.
Either way.
Let's stick with that story.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So doing all these videos and stuff, I know social media when I first got into social media was the MySpace era, and for me
Oh
it was
yeah.
cool. We could design our own page and put like graphics and whatnot, but
Totally.
then it turned to Facebook, and then it became Instagram, which has been a good marketing tool for a lot of businesses. And it's so like with Instagram is mostly on your phone, and so it's like you have it with you at all times. Growing up with social media when Instagram first started, what are your pros and cons about social media now? I mean, I have a bunch of both, so I kind of wanted to pick your brain in that aspect.
Totally, man. I think that social media, like now, it's a whole different animal right
Yeah.
now than it was 10 years ago, right? Right? Like 10 years ago, it was like a photo. And most people legit like were just like, oh, here's a photo of my dog, here's my cat. Like it was
Yeah.
actually social media. Like it was like you're using your media and being social with it. Like it wasn't super curated. And then there was people that got really good at it and now and figured out that if you use exact color schemes and if you work it like a science, you can make people buy from you more, right? And so over the last few years, it's changed and like gotten to a point where like, we as the people that own the phones have to be careful that we don't like over consume because it's so easy to just,
Yeah.
over consume, right? And especially like before like companies like Apple and Facebook were like aware of the damage it can do if all you do is scroll. Like we didn't have do not disturb, for like the
Yeah.
first 10 years of cell phones. Remember that? So we were all just like this new thing, super addicted. I think now there's a little bit more awareness, but I think that, the con is addiction and comparing yourself to others, which is why like
Yeah.
I always preach that like nowadays the number one way you can use social media is just being you and being
Yeah.
authentic and being who you are and like taking your flaws and just saying this is part of my brand. I'm working on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's important for everybody. You don't have to look a certain way or be a certain thing or like you don't have to be a hot bikini model to be an influencer. You could just be you. And a
Yeah.
lot of times people are surprised when they come out of their shell and start being themselves. I think that's the healthiest way to use social media, right? It pushes all of us to like become better. We have to be on camera. We have to, teach others. We're all superpowers at one thing. We all have like you do your stuff. You have a club promoter. I don't know anything about that. I have videography. If we come together, it's like boom, right? We have now two superheroes together. Everyone has something. And so
Yeah.
your social media is to just teach others about your superpower, show you living your best life, right? And I think like I love watching other people succeed at what they're good at. That's not my thing. But man, it's so cool for me to watch them do that. That's the most healthy way to use social media. And I think that's the foundation of like building a brand, right?
Yep. I agree totally. I like watching people thrive and becoming something from being themselves. For me, social media has been kind of hard to navigate. For me, I've noticed through the club scene, like it kind of damaged the club scene a little bit. Like you don't have to go out and meet people now. I can sit on the toilet and try and meet as much girls as I can on my phone. And you don't have to take that risk of actually going up to somebody and be like, "Hi, I'm Thad. Can I get you a drink?" It's like I
Right.
can hopefully swipe left and you're my friend, and then you're not gonna bring them to the club. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
and my biggest thing with having a daughter who's a teenager is I'm afraid that she won't live in the moment because of social media and how things are in always viewed through a lens or a screen. I want to make sure she has those moments where she's living in it. She's not trying to film it or show her friends like, "Oh, I'm at the beach having fun," or "I'm at Disneyland." I just like I want you to be in that moment.
Totally.
And I think that would probably be in my opinion, the negative aspects of it. But positive wise, I've been connected with people I've nowhere near any chance of meeting other than social media or
100%.
connecting with friends who I've grown apart from, and now I get to follow them and see what they're doing and reconnect. So there's huge pluses for it. Plus marketing for my club brand, for my podcast has been pretty cool. And like I meet people like you and I get to hear their stories and it just inspiring. So with social media, I do get inspired by it. And for me, I like the humorous side of social media,
Totally.
memes and people posting funny stuff. And I think the last thing I would say is positive is I'm a huge 49er fan. So
Bring it
I
on.
can,
Okay.
yeah, dude, we're looking good. But
Yeah.
it connects you to the players personally. And
Totally.
um you go behind the scenes in the locker rooms and practices and get to know these guys on a personal individual level, and it's kind of cool. It makes you kind of cheer for them more for some reason, you know what I mean?
Totally, totally. Yeah, I think I think I agree with everything you said. Really, social media was like it just was like hit the accelerator on everything in life, right? So if you were somebody that was like productive and entrepreneur, you were like already, sharing your story and meeting people, it hit the gas, man. You now have the ability to do that on 100, 200, 300x scale extremely quickly. If you're somebody that does, addictive and you waste time, it also hit the accelerator on
Yeah.
your ability to waste insane amounts of time. So it accelerates what's already there. And
Yeah.
I love what you just said about like, personal brands and being able to get to know somebody on an individual level, because that's just like, you and the 49ers players, we all have that chance to share our authentic selves behind the scenes, and people
Yeah.
care about it. I mean, like people nowadays, there's been a shift in the last few years where I think people care more about authentic, like authenticity, than stage stuff. What I mean is like I personally think that like news that I get from a podcast like this, as long as it's like fact checked, is probably has a higher chance of being correct than like something from like everyone who's in makeup on CNN and it's a whole production, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
people like the authentic stuff. And we now have this chance that only in the last like 5 years of human existence can we literally share what we're doing, right? All the time with as many people as want to follow us. And that's really, really cool. It's a power. It can accelerate you either way in the
Yeah.
wrong, right or wrong way. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible. It's the power of personal brand.
Yep.
Totally.
And any given moment, like everybody has a video camera in their pocket when no one else did. Like you said, you had
Better
to
or
have
worse.
the yeah, you had to have a VHS recorder. Now is everybody, and which is gets real news out in real time immediately, unadulterated or
Filter, man. It's just
agendafied, I guess.
yeah, what like 3 years ago, if I would fly a drone, like there was people that would come out with like shotguns, like what in tornado? I mean, literally, like they would, and I would have to run for my life. And now you have like 8-year-olds just like
Oh
taking
yeah.
a run off at the beach. Nobody cares. Everybody knows somebody that got one for Christmas at one point. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's different, man. It totally has changed. Like, but it's also sad because it's like people are too comfortable now. You have those TikTok videos that are like in
Yeah.
public in a street, and you're just like, dude, come on. So it's like
Oh,
it goes both ways, right? It's a superpower. It also has the double-edged sword, right? Can wreck your life or other people's lives. So it's important you like use it responsibly, right? And to like clean up your feed. I tell people that all the time. Like you're a person, you change over time. Every day I clean up my feed. So if I'm going through my feed and there's something that was negative, was violent, was like not, didn't contribute to my day, like I just unfollow it. Like your feed, I tell the algorithm what to show me, and I keep it positive because that's what keeps me in the mind space. Everybody has a responsibility to do that themselves, right? And to
yeah.
remove the old people in their life, the old negativity in their life, and then just curate your own reality online. Totally.
That's good. It's funny you mentioned the algorithm because it's something that confuses me to no end. Like you said, I could be talking to somebody about Toyota trucks, and next thing you know, it's on my feed, or like one little thing, and next thing you know, I got a whole ton of that same kind of thing. Um, how realistic is this algorithm process, or is it just kind of people buying into the myth of it?
No, dude, it's real, and it's crazy because it evolves every single day. I remember, I mean, I've been spent over $10 million on Facebook ads over the last 5 years. And so I've done a lot for clients, for myself, for others, and the algorithm changes all the time. But the number one, and it's AI too. So it really does like it's changing, and your algorithm is different from my algorithm, right? And
Yeah.
so the important thing to know, like the principle, is that the purpose of the algorithm is to bring you back. Always. The purpose of the algorithm, it wants you to open up your phone and get back on social media as much as possible. Like That's it, right? We have to look at the behavior. I've spent over $10 million on ads for my clients who are running ads. Those are the people that are paying for me, you, all of us to use social media for free. They're paying for it by running ads, right?
Yeah.
So social media wants our eyes on the platform as much as possible so that we are seeing those ads and they can charge a premium. So with all that being said, right, that's the whole goal. And so it wants to suck you in. If I think what a lot of people don't realize, and this, I guess this is not like confirmed, so but a lot of it is like what you type in your messages, what you comment to people. That's also telling the algorithm. Every single thing you do in that app is telling the algorithm what you want to see more of. If you're
Hmm.
messaging somebody, every single message you send that person, they are ranking higher and higher and higher and higher on your algorithm. You're going to see more of them in your feed. You're going to see more of them in your stories, right?
Yeah.
It's 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 trying to suck you in and keep you sucked in. So if the algorithm notices something that you like, it's going to go all in on that thing for a while and constantly change. And so it's good and it's bad. You can use that to get a lot more followers on social media if you can work the algorithm correctly,
Yeah.
or you could just get, it's like a river. It could just sweep you right away and you could just get lost in it. So if you know how to work it, then you can kill it.
Well, that's one of my questions for you is I think being a content creator, a lot of people want to try and figure out the algorithm so like they can get more followers and more likes or what more any kind of interaction. If you could figure out how the algorithm works in your favor as a content creator, you could kind of generate more um I guess people interacting with you. Is there ways to do that? I know you have courses and stuff, but
Yeah.
what's confusing to me is this: if it changes all the time, how do you keep figuring it out all the time?
Totally. So it's principles, right? So I'll teach, this is like one of the lessons that's in my course, right? But it's
Okay.
something called Instagram infiltration. So here's what it is. All right, is you will identify first and foremost, right? Like, who are my ideal followers? Who's going to actually care about what I have to say? So for me, it's like other videographers. It's anybody that's like actively making content and knows the grind of video are people that would probably follow me, right? So the question you have to ask yourself is, where are they hanging out? And more importantly, where are they commenting? Where are the people that that would probably also like my comment, where are they at? Where are they commenting? Where are they engaging? So for me, it could be like, Adobe, right? Other
Yeah.
videographers are probably commenting on Adobe's posts. So I would go to Adobe, I would go to a recent post, I would look at the comment section. Anybody who is actively commenting, that means they're an active account, they're looking for things to comment on, they're engaged followers. I will go on there, I will follow them, and I will engage with them first. So you can always work the algorithm if you're willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
You leave genuine comment, right? So if it's like Bob the videographer, he loves to comment on Adobe. I'm going to go to Bob the videographer's page and be like, bro, I love your stuff. It's incredible. Just leave comments. Everybody reads the comments. Everybody. Not everybody reads their messages. Everybody reads their comments, right? And so even the biggest celebrities, they scroll and they all read their comments. And so if you leave genuine, heartfelt comments, that person's gonna be like, who the hell is this that just found me out of the blue? And they're most likely going to follow you back. Now, when they follow you back, if you're posting consistently, they get caught, right, because of the algorithm in your engagement loop. The algorithm's like, whoa, you just followed this guy. You probably want to see his stuff all the time. So it starts showing more and more and more and more of that one person's content, to this Bob guy he was just commenting on this Adobe thread. He had no
Yeah.
idea that I was, wanting to engage with him and now meet someone that's in my fellow field. And if I do that 50 times to every single person commenting, I could get 50 people that follow me back that are also videographers. They're highly targeted. They care about what I do. I know they comment on stuff. Now, as I post, the algorithm is being shown to those people that I am targeting. So I am constantly like finding new people to follow and engage with because I love to root people on. Like if I find a
Yeah.
baller who's just crushing it in their field, or at least just trying, I don't care what field they're in. I'm gonna cheer them on, right? And I those comments are genuine. I'm just like, let's go. Let's like people forget to be social. A lot of people get stagnant on social media. They think that just posting is enough. If you go out there and lead, I call it, Operation Spread the Aloha. Just comment love, like give actual comments on real people that you don't know, and then they'll follow you back. And now suddenly you have people that are friends with you that you've never met. If you
Huh.
do that every day consistently, your account will blow up. Because it's not about how many followers, it's about how much the followers you do have care about you, right? So if
Yes.
you're reaching out first with love, the law of reciprocity states that they just automatically feel like they have a debt to you. Oh, this guy just left me like 30 nice comments. I gotta at least follow him back. That's just psychology, right? So
Yep.
that's the secret of Instagram infiltration. Doesn't matter if it changes every day. I don't really care about what's more important, a reel or you'll see
Yeah.
influencers talk about. None of that matters. What matters is that you get out what you put in. You can't just. Very few people can literally just post and then get a million followers. It's not going to happen. But if you are now engaging with the right people, it creates an algorithm that's working for you, and it's the way to move it. So does that kind of make sense?
It does. It does sound like it's a lot of work, though. You got to take it seriously and put in the work. And
Do it on the toilet. That's what I tell people. I'm like, when you're just sitting on the toilet and you're going to be doing nothing but scrolling anyways, how about instead of scrolling for random people on your feed, go find some new people
that makes
and get
sense.
genuinely curious. Like you'd be surprised the cool accounts you can find and the cool
Yeah.
business. Maybe your next door neighbor is running that you don't even know about, but you find them on social media and you have an it's cool. So I just tell people spend 5 minutes a day, put that work in, and it'll explode like every aspect of your life. I mean, your business will grow.
Yeah.
Uh, People follow you. They don't remember how they found you. I followed them first. I started spreading love first. Now they're hiring. They want to hire me, right? Because they follow me for a while, like 6 months, and they're like, dude, as soon as they need a videographer, they know who to call. Every
Yeah.
industry is. If you're a mechanic, right? If you're a loan officer, it doesn't matter. If they see you and they know you, eventually that person is going to need you, or someone they know is going to need you, and they're going to call me because I'm the one that's in their feed all the time. So I'm like famous to them, even though I'm not in the real world. It's just because I'm on.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. And like you said, you're getting it to work for you. And at worst, you're meeting some cool people and interacting with
Totally.
people that might inspire you. Um, do you find like people nowadays are putting so much into content creating where it's not, like you said, organic, it's very
Yeah,
staged and fake, to think of a shittier word, you know what I mean? It's like I know a lot of people that spend so much time thinking about what they're gonna put on Instagram, where it consumes them to the point
totally.
where they're going out of their way to do certain things. It's like not even organic, you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, I think there's definitely a fine line of not overthinking, because you want, like, the goal is the most content, but you have to live by authenticity. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but like, it's not authentic to just go and like shake your ass in the middle of a busy restaurant. That's not authentic. People don't do that. Look back at, millions of years. People don't do that. So, like, if it's actually authentic, if it's really something that you do, I think it's totally fine to document that and to showcase that. But I also think it's the way that I kill overthinking is I say, all right, like I'm just gonna establish a set of brand rules. And as long as whatever this piece of content is like matches those rules, I don't need to think about it. It goes out. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Right. So for example,
Yeah.
like I make 50 to 60 videos a week for my clients. Like I make them, but I give them to them to post. If they tag me as a collaborator in their video, I will not accept it, even though I made it, because I only put stuff on my feed that I appear in. People
Yeah.
don't want, people don't want to go to my feed and see a bunch of random people with no context. People want to see who I am, right? So
Yeah.
that's like a rule. It's like I don't ever have to think about it. If somebody tags me or whatever, if I make a video and I'm not in it, it doesn't go on my feed. That's it. Next one, 80% of my feed, I have to be wearing pink. That's my brand color. And it works. And is this 80%? And I go look at it. Have I been good? Have I been slacking? Or if I'm good and 80%, then my feed is looking crisp and nice and colorful. Rules like that, right? And once you set really good rules, you don't have to think too much about like what you post. You just kind of have to run it through just a system, right? You want to get as much
Yeah.
content out there as possible, but there's no right way and there's no wrong way. And you're the one that's going to care the most about your post. Other people are
Yeah.
not going to as many times as you are.
I
Other people
definitely believe that.
care as much as you are, right? Like we are
Yeah.
our own biggest critic. It's the spotlight effect. Like other people don't care as much as we think they do. And
Oh
so if
yeah.
they're seeing it, liking it, moving on, they don't care. They're not going to notice your fumble or the little thing, the details. Like it's just authentic and we don't have to Photoshop our lives. Like we can just be us and let it roll. As long as the message is there, then I think it's cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you because I post way too much 49er stuff and nobody cares. And it's
Party your
honestly
friend,
like you
baby,
said,
party your
yeah.
friend.
But it's like honestly, I'm not posting it for people engaging with me. I'm posting it for me, for so
Totally.
you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean. It
yeah.
makes me feel cool or something. But I wonder sometimes, are you getting a lot of like influencers hitting you up to do content? Like these, I meet so many girls in the club and I talk to them and I'm like, oh, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I'm an Instagram model. And I'm like, oh, you're an Instagram model? That's what you are? Like, oh, good. I'm a running back for Madden.
Or
It's
Madden.
like, does it
Yeah.
become fake or real? Or, and then how often are you doing shoots for people like that?
Okay, yeah. So I'm pretty strict and like I've obviously worked with people like that before. I've been asked to like shoot OnlyFans content and
Oh,
whatever. Then here's nice is I don't judge about anything, but my wife is also an equally talented photographer and equally talented videographer, if not better. She's amazing. So she handles all the girl stuff. So luckily, I don't deal with it. I'm not. I mean, I'm just like I don't like to be like spread your legs for the photo shoot. I don't do that. I got
yeah.
two kids, man. I'm happily married. Like, it's just not part. Like, I don't do the sexy girl stuff, which is a whole part of the internet. Plus, I like the content that I make. I want to educate, uplift, or inspire somebody. So if I'm making it for another client, it shouldn't be just, hey, let's brag about how much money you have. It should actually be educational and inspire and not make somebody feel worse about themselves, right? So that being said, I always shoot one time and do like a demo shoot, one off with everybody to get the vibe of each other. And if I don't like it, we never shoot again. If they're cool, we keep shooting because I can legitimately through videography help them explode their personal brands. And I don't want to do that for the wrong people, right? It's a double-edged
Yeah.
sword. So it's like I've had clients that were like, "Hey, film me walk into Louis Vuitton and drop $8,000 and then get a free glass of champagne and walk out." Like that's the whole video. And I'm just like, this doesn't do anything for anyone but him. There's
Yeah.
the only one. No one cares. And all they potentially do is hurt everybody else's feelings that they're not cool enough to do that. And so
Yeah.
I never shot with that guy again. I mean, I made it for him. I respected it, but I didn't shoot with him again. And so I think it's also important of content creators to not like drink the Kool-Aid of that bullshit. Like as if you're making the content, you have responsibility to make sure that what you put out there makes the world a better place, right?
Well, a
And
lot of
not
people don't, right?
no,
Yeah.
yeah. So
That
I
is,
I think it's important, yeah.
well, that's kind of cool to hear that that's how your brand and outlook is. And like you said, like I look at your feed and I look at your content that you're putting out and it's high positive energy. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted you to come on the show. And I was attracted to that because that's the kind of stuff I like. That's the kind of energy I want to be around and um contribute to, because people like that is what is going to make other people put out better stuff, you know what I mean?
Totally. My goal with my Instagram is uplift, right away, like whatever's on there should uplift people, and that's why I did the colors are pink, and it's all very intentional. But then I always want people to wonder what's going to happen next, right? So
Yeah.
you scroll and it's just super different. I mean, every day is totally different. It's in a different place. It's a different client. It's a different story. It's a different. So I kind of like that. I want to, because that's what I love about this particular career, right? It's like I love being a videographer because it's different every day. And I know people that are like, I'm happy with my 9 to 5. I want to stay there, but I love watching you do it, So like keep
Yeah.
posting. It's cool for me to see. And I think that's the best part about social media. We all get to support each other's dreams. So it's like, I appreciate that, man. Like, and everyone can have their own vibe for their
Yeah.
own, websites are kind of dead, to be honest, and have been
Yeah.
replaced with social media. Like, this isn't this isn't 5 years ago where Google is king and SEO is going to win. It's just not. Like, people would rather buy from a brand that they follow on social media and trust than, if they need shoes, they'd rather buy from an influencer they like that has a shoe brand instead of just Googling like what is the best shoe.
Yeah.
And that's the big shift in the last 5 years. And so all of us have the opportunity to, to put ourselves out there and to beat, we don't have to even have money. We just have our iPhones and we make good content and we put in the grind. YouTube University,
Yep.
everyone can.
Yep. So, in your opinion, where do you see this thing going in the future? I mean, you kind of lived through multiple generations of it, and it's
Hmm.
only going to get crazier, especially with AI now. Is like I'm hearing all kind of weird stuff. And where, in your opinion, since you're so closely linked to this, how do you see it going in the future?
I think social media will always be here. I think everybody will always have phones. I think that's not going to change. Um, so I think for me, my philosophy is learn how to live with it, like treat it just like a part of life, right? So I have 2 kids. I know people that are like no screen time at all. And I'm like, well, that's not realistic. I don't
Yeah.
care who you are. They get in elementary school, they're gonna be surrounded by screens. It's gonna be like Times Square in there. So my job, right, as a parent, and I think our jobs is to learn how to live with it, to learn moderation. I don't know if you
Yeah.
have kids, but anybody that has
Yep.
children will tell you that pulling them away from a screen, they freak out. And I don't think, you don't treat it like it's bad. It's not like your kid is wrong. It's because like we have brains that are not developed for all this new stuff that we just invented the last 20 years, right?
Yeah.
We're not ready for this. And so we got our monkey brain just getting destroyed by technology. So it's okay. Like, of course, kids are going to get mad and angry when we pull it away. Of like, you might feel like that too. I just think it's important to recognize that like we're all basically one giant experiment, right? So
Yeah.
being with each other about like how how our screen time is affecting us is good. But I think so it'll always be here. And I think that to be honest, and if you remember like the YouTube boom, like the Devon Supertramp era, like those the anybody that got in at that time, right? That really early boom of YouTube, massive success. I
Yeah.
think we are right about there for Instagram personal brands. I really, really mean this. Like in the next 2 or 3 years, I think that like every single business is going to realize like this is it. Like this is the new website, this is the new radio, this is the new frontier of advertising, of connecting with people. Like this is it. And I think that anybody who really gets serious about it right now is going to be ahead of the curve, because it's like there's only more to go around, right? The world can only get more connected
Yeah.
at this point. And I think that, I actually am really positive about it. There's a lot of AI. I think AI will affect a lot of jobs, but I'm not worried about it because AI will never be able to replace telling stories. And that's all I
Yeah.
do. I don't just make videos. AI will most definitely be able to replace that. And people don't need to hire me. Like everybody has their own phones. Everybody could hire an editor in India and just film stuff and send it to them. Everyone can do that. But
Yeah.
like people hire me because I tell stories, right? And I make a connection with them. So I think that everyone needs to like everyone has their superpower. And it's very, very, very unlikely that your superpower can get replaced by AI. It just is. Like as a human, our jobs might get replaced, but not our superpower, right? So it's like I think leaning into what you're good at now, right? And becoming known on, for what you're good at is the key, right? Because I really, really do think that like AI is going to replace a lot of jobs. It's only going to get smarter. It's only going to get better. Like the algorithm is only going to get better at addicting you. So
Yeah.
we all got to learn right now how to control it, so that as it gets smarter, like, we're prepared for it.
Yeah. So
So
what is your opinion about TikTok? Like, is that's kind of gaining a lot of steam, and especially with the younger generation, you dabble in TikTok or mess with that
I,
stuff?
I mean, I don't really. So here's my like opinion on all of them, right? So TikTok came out of nowhere, crushing it, and Meta panicked, right? Instagram and Facebook, they panicked, and which is why the collaboration feature came out on Instagram and Facebook, because they realized, okay, we got to help people, and more than just connecting. TikTok is doing that. We got to help people grow. We got to help businesses grow. So that collaboration feature, in my opinion, on Instagram and on Facebook is the direct response of them trying to get better, because now there's a competitor, right? So I
Yeah.
don't love TikTok, but here's why. Like TikTok is not, I think there are people that can make money on TikTok advertising, but I think TikTok is more Gen Z. And I don't market to Gen Z. I market to business owners that are millennials or like Gen X or my parents' age, right? I help people that don't know what they're doing get better at social media, right? The people on
Yeah.
TikTok, I'm not even on TikTok. I mean, I am technically, but just because that's not where my business is going to grow. So I think that it's fine for people that want to use TikTok. I think it's a totally different style of content, right? Like what I make is would be like organic dressed up, like business organic, right? Mine's like, it's still authentic organic content. It's not like the news where everyone's in makeup. Like there's
Yeah.
no trap, so lighting, like it's run and gun content, but like the best possible editing and version. TikTok is like the lowest possible version. It's like,
Yeah.
like horrible quality, something on a phone, bad editing, and that's what does. And my type of content scares people away on TikTok. And that's okay, right? So my content thrives on Instagram, so I stay in my lane. I think there are people that crush it. Fashion's huge on TikTok. There's industries
Yeah.
that are huge on TikTok. It's just not mine. So I think everyone just needs to find like one or two that they're good at and crush it there.
Well, that makes sense. And I do agree. I feel like the TikTok community is very younger minded, and it's not my generation, so I don't really mess with it. My daughter's all about it, and she knows all the
As
ins
she
and
should
outs.
be. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
her thing. And if I was like, if my customers were, Gen Z or younger, 100%, I'd be on TikTok, but they're just not.
I think that I got a lot of info, but I definitely want to have you back on. I got a lot of more questions
Do
and
it, man.
stuff in the future, but where
Always
can
down.
people find you on Instagram and your website and stuff?
Yeah. So I'm vitamin B. I'm dot, and then vitamin B. So that's where you guys can find me. Hashtag vitamin B videographer too. But yeah, man, I'd love to connect with people. Like I'm happy to, that's the point, right? It's the point of social media, is to be social and to get to know people. And there's never harm in reaching out for anything. I've gotten big collabs with 7-Eleven and with everybody just because I asked. So if you have an idea and you're listening to this, like shoot me a DM. Like let's talk, because there's always we can always create more together, right? Working together than we can by ourselves. So happy to connect with anybody.
All right, on. And for us, it's the same. We Above the Bridge podcast on Instagram, YouTube. Our website's atbpod.com, and I'm Thaddy Daddy High on Instagram. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I know we had to cut it short because our my power went out and the time frame that we had kind
Oh,
of
good,
got
bro.
messed
Well,
up.
I'll come back on, man. I'm happy to
Yeah.
anytime. There's
Yeah,
a lot.
definitely. And I definitely want to talk to you in the future about learning more about the algorithms and how to build my brand. I want to sit down or talk story with you about that for sure.
Good anytime, man.
Right
Yeah,
on. Well,
appreciate you, brother.
shakas for the cameras.
Oh, thank you,
All
bro.
right, man. We're out. Shout out to the Artist Group Network. Aloha, brah.
Hey, praise you. Thanks, bro.